See this last night, Fever superstar Caitlin Clark joining the NBC Sunday Night Basketball pregame show. She was a special contributor for last night's Lakers-Knicks game.
You can see her here alongside Pacers legend Reggie Miller. She is back on NBC March 29th when the Knicks play the Thunder in.
Caitlin Clark just made her debut on NBC's Basketball Night in America, and the internet is absolutely losing it. She didn't just show up and give surface-level takes. She delivered real basketball insight, the kind that has fans saying she might already sound more polished than analysts who've been doing this for years. The reaction to her first appearance has been insane. Now the big question is, can Caitlin Clark actually become a legitimate broadcasting star while still playing professionally? Or is this just hype because she's the most popular name in basketball right now?
Welcome to the team, Caitlin Clark. Yes.
First time in MSG for a Knicks game, so it's pretty cool.
I know, it's our first Knicks game, first time feeling the atmosphere. We got to get you to play on this court one day.
We have to talk to Adam about that.
Can we make it mellow? Honestly, if there's someone
Even if it's a preseason game, we got to get it done. I don't think the Liberty will want to move a game over here, but we'll play anybody. It'll be fun.
Yeah. How could you describe maybe the atmosphere your first time in it?
Well, I think as a player, like, this is kind of when you feel the atmosphere the most, is when you're out on the court warming up. So, I mean, there's just a different type of buzz. And obviously, when LeBron comes to town, it's probably really different. But, you know, Knicks fans are crazy. And
Caitlin Clark sat down with NBC's Basketball Night in America crew. And within minutes of her segment airing, the entire internet lit up. Social media exploded. Even people who normally don't pay attention to the WNBA were suddenly talking about how natural she looked on camera. Basketball analysts were tweeting about how smoothly she carried the conversation, and casual fans were shocked by how confidently she broke down the league's current situation without sounding like a scripted corporate voice. The timing of her debut is what makes it even more fascinating. The WNBA is less than 100 days away from tipping off the 2026 season, yet the league and the Players Association are still stuck negotiating a new collective bargaining agreement. There's no expansion draft yet for Portland and Toronto, free agency hasn't even unfolded, and while the draft is scheduled for April 13th, nothing feels fully secure because the CBA still isn't finalized. It's complete chaos, and NBC chose to put Caitlin on air right in the middle of it. That could have been a minefield for her first major appearance, but instead it turned into a masterclass, because she handled the moment perfectly.
Brightest stars in the game, Caitlin Clark going toe-to-toe with the biggest women's basketball stars on the biggest stage. And guess what, guys? We're less than 100 days away from the start of the 2026 season, but the WNBA and the Players Association are still negotiating a new collective bargaining agreement, with the latest meeting actually scheduled for tomorrow. You can take a look at last year's off-season calendar. The league is already behind schedule. No expansion draft yet for the two new franchises in Portland and Toronto. And ahead of last season, the Golden State Valkyries expansion draft, you can see it took place in December of 2026, and they're scheduled to tip off May 8th. Caitlin, I'm just curious, because you said that this moment right now is one of the biggest moments the WNBA has ever seen. Looking forward into the future, what would you like to see happen as you come to a negotiation?
Well, honestly, I don't think it's just a big moment for the WNBA. I think all of women's sports, I think this is one of the biggest moments we've ever had. So, you know, I feel very confident that we're going to get something done, and that's because we're in this moment because of the product we put on the floor. So we need to be able to continue to do that, and I know everybody's working really hard. There's a meeting tomorrow that's super important, and I truly do believe we're going to get something done here in the next couple of weeks. But like you said, I mean, there's a lot of boxes that we still need to check. We've added two new teams. I mean, there's going to be more players than ever, and then we have to get into free agency, then have a normal draft as well. So there's a lot of things left to do, but I really do feel confident that both sides are going to.
When asked about the CBA negotiations, Caitlin didn't hide behind a generic, "I'm sure it'll work out" line. Instead, she said, "This is one of the biggest moments, not just for the WNBA, but for all of women's sports." She acknowledged the critical meeting that was happening, expressed confidence a deal would get done in the next couple of weeks, and then laid out the specific items still on the agenda. 2 new teams, more players than ever, free agency, the draft, basically the full landscape of what's coming. That's not someone reading talking points. That's someone who genuinely understands the business side of basketball and can communicate it clearly. Most active players would stumble or default to saying the league and union are handling it. Caitlin delivered a complete, thoughtful answer showing she gets the big picture. The ironic part? She did this while some WNBA veterans were outside waving inflatable rats in protest. Caitlin was on national TV professionally discussing the league's future, while others were literally holding props. The contrast couldn't be clearer. One approach builds credibility and expands the audience. The other just makes you look unserious.
April 13th, but the growth of the league has been so much. I mean, can you just help us to understand the transition this league is going on right now?
I mean, it's incredible, and I remember my first WNBA game when I was a young girl. I went to the Minnesota Lynx when they had their dynasty with Maya Moore, and they were playing the Seattle Storm, and now basically any arena you go to, it's sold out. We're adding 2 teams. We're up to 14 now, and then hopefully getting to 18 in the next couple years. So, you know, business is booming, and that's a really good thing, and we kind of just got to keep meeting the moment. The talent's getting better and better. You see it at the college level coming into the professional game, too. So I feel very fortunate, and hopefully have a long career ahead of me as well.
Well, just know that the league's fortunate to have you, a transcendent piece of growing the game. We appreciate you just joining us.
When the host asked Caitlin to explain the league's transition, she made it personal. She shared her memory of attending her first WNBA game as a young girl, watching the Minnesota Lynx dynasty with Maya Moore face the Seattle Storm, and then tied that memory to the present moment. Arenas sold out, the league expanding from 14 teams toward 18, and the overall growth of the game. That's smart storytelling. She took a technical question about league growth and made it relatable, showing her journey from fan to player. Then she dropped the line, "Business is booming, and that's a really good thing, and we kind of just got to keep meeting the moment." That's Caitlin subtly acknowledging her own impact without overtly taking credit. Ratings, jersey sales, and packed arenas follow her presence, but she frames it as a collective success, elevating the league while staying humble. The host even called her a transcendent piece of growing the game, and she responded, "I feel very fortunate and hopefully have a long career ahead of me as well," signaling she's here for the long term. But this debut is bigger than a good TV performance. NBC put her on primetime, flagship basketball programming, analyzing alongside NBA legends. This isn't a late-night token WNBA segment. It's top-tier exposure. By nailing it on her first try, Caitlin Clark didn't just succeed on camera, she opened doors. Consistent performance at this level means NBC, and other networks, will want her back, giving her influence over basketball coverage in a way most players never get. Other networks are going to notice this. Caitlin Clark is building a broadcasting career while still playing professionally, a rare feat. Most athletes wait until retirement to transition into media, but she's doing both simultaneously, and the business implications are enormous. If she becomes a regular presence on NBA broadcasts, casual NBA fans tuning in for games like Lakers vs. Knicks will hear her break down WNBA CBA negotiations and league growth. That's exposure money can't buy, a massive cross-promotion that benefits the WNBA and elevates the league's profile to audiences who might never watch women's basketball otherwise. Some critics argue active players shouldn't broadcast because it's a distraction or a conflict of interest, but that's short-sighted. Caitlin doing this raises her profile and, by extension, the WNBA's. The only people who might resent it are veterans uncomfortable with her meteoric rise. The contrast couldn't be starker. Caitlin is professionally discussing the league's future on national TV, while others are waving inflatable rats and making unrealistic salary demands. One approach builds credibility, the other undermines it. What's also notable is how comfortable she looked on camera. Some athletes are stiff and awkward in interviews. Caitlin was relaxed, conversational, and natural. She smiled at the right moments, maintained eye contact, and spoke thoughtfully, never rushing or giving one-word answers. The anecdote about watching the Knicks in slippers added relatability, showing she's a fan too, not just a basketball machine. That relatability helps her connect with audiences in ways other players haven't. NBC scheduling her return for March 29th in Oklahoma City signals they were thrilled with her debut. They're not treating this as a one-off, they're building her into the rotation. For Caitlin, that means more exposure, more camera practice, and more credibility as a broadcaster. The timing is perfect. The WNBA is in limbo with the CBA negotiations still unresolved, so having Caitlin on air keeps the league in the conversation even though games aren't being played yet. Here's the kicker. Caitlin likely makes more money from this NBC deal than from her WNBA salary. Her Fever contract pays around $76,000 for the season, while this broadcasting gig is probably significantly higher for far less work. That's not a critique of Caitlin. It's a critique of WNBA pay structures. The league's biggest star making more money analyzing basketball than playing it professionally is a stark illustration of how undervalued its players are. Caitlin isn't just playing the game, she's expanding her influence, building leverage, and reshaping how talent intersects with media. This isn't hype. It's a strategic shift, and the league would be wise to take notice. And that's exactly why the CBA negotiations matter so much. Players like Caitlin are driving massive attention and revenue for the league, yet their compensation doesn't reflect that impact. Broadcasting opportunities are fantastic, but they shouldn't be necessary for players to earn a livable wage. Some veterans have criticized Caitlin for pursuing media work, saying she should focus solely on basketball, but that critique misses the point. If the league isn't paying enough for players to thrive, why wouldn't they maximize their earning potential through endorsements and media? Criticizing Caitlin for being smart about her career is really just jealousy masquerading as concern. Her NBC debut also proves something critical. Caitlin Clark has star power that transcends basketball. Even people who don't follow the WNBA were watching because of her presence. That's the mark of a transcendent athlete, someone whose influence draws attention regardless of the context, whether it's playing on the court, analyzing games, or appearing on podcasts. NBC clearly recognizes this, which is why they're integrating her into their main NBA coverage alongside established analysts rather than isolating her in a niche WNBA segment. They're treating her like she belongs there, because she does. Her knowledge of the game, ability to break down plays, and clear communication are on par with anyone in the industry. The reaction from other analysts and media insiders has been overwhelmingly positive. Those who cover basketball professionally, and would normally be the harshest critics, have praised her performance. That's not hype, that's credibility. Caitlin is building a multidimensional brand that extends beyond just playing basketball. She's positioning herself as a player, analyst, and ambassador for the sport. That kind of brand longevity is far more valuable in the long run than just being remembered as a great player. By the time her playing career winds down, she'll already have a well-established broadcasting presence, ensuring her influence and income continues long after she leaves the court. And that's why Caitlin Clark's NBC debut isn't just a personal milestone. It's a game changer for the WNBA and for athletes thinking bigger than the court. She's showing that you don't have to wait until retirement to build a lasting brand or to leverage your influence. Every time she speaks on national television, every segment she nails, it reminds leagues, sponsors, and fans alike that star power isn't contained by team colors or league boundaries. Caitlin's approach also flips the script on what success looks like for professional athletes today. You can dominate on the court and off it. You can demand fair compensation while also creating opportunities that expand your reach and the sport's visibility. Networks recognize talent when they see it, audiences reward authenticity, and sponsors follow the attention. By stepping into this space now, she's establishing leverage, control over her career and over how women's basketball is perceived. In short, Caitlin Clark isn't just playing basketball or doing TV commentary, she's redefining what it means to be a modern athlete. And the league, the media, and even her peers are witnessing a blueprint for how talent, intelligence, and timing can combine to shift power dynamics in real time. This is more than a debut, it's a statement. Influence can't be scripted, and stars like Caitlin don't wait for permission, they create their own stage.